Hello everyone, Darren here, and welcome back to Cities Skylines. Now, in the last episode, I overhauled the Shoreline Business Park and oil industry. Now, we have a variety of cargo terminals on both land and sea, and multiple ways to commute there via bus, metro, or train. We also just created a new residential district, which I've named Madison, and that's helped push our population up to 50,000, with our sights firmly set on the milestone of 60,000, which is going to allow us to build our city's first airport. Today, we're gonna go monitor the population growth as it's continuing, while we also build out a series of new nature-based hotels, and then just generally touching up a few of the details around our latest projects. So, let's begin. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you find me over the Shoreline Business Park as it currently stands, and one of the first pieces of feedback that I had from the previous episode was that I forgot to add in any services to the back of the business park where we have our generic industry. Of course, if you want generic industry to level up, you're going to have to cover it with service buildings, and of course it tells you that. And if we want it to level up, it's going to make us more tax money, and potentially even house more workers as well. Usually the buildings get bigger. Not all the time with the realistic population mod, of course, but most of the time. So, let's get started with some services. We're just going to slam them down and then see if we can decide on a good spot for them. So, a medical clinic. I want to make sure our workers are taken care of. Then we'll go with fire safety. Of course, very important in an industrial area. So, a firehouse, bit smaller building, somewhere like there maybe. Then we've got a police barracks of some sort, police station. Keep the crime down. Somewhere like there. And we're also going to add in a little bit of leisure. A sidewalk cafe. People need to take a break from from time to time. So a sidewalk restaurant or a sidewalk cafe. It would fit in here really nicely, and it's actually built with a path inside of it. Or maybe up here would be good. Let's try there for the moment. So that path would connect straight in, connect out. Maybe we could still move this back over. We might be able to fit them all in this way, actually. In the same area. Ooh, just a little tight on the edge there. Just a little bit. Oh, I think I'm going to be a little sneaky and try to get it to fit in. I'll tell you what, if we move this police station further down, we move that in place of where the police station was. Now it makes sense. Now it fits just fine. So it's like a little services street, and it's right, kind of, well, I was going to say in the center. I guess this place does expand fairly over to the top right, but it's kind of central to what could be over here in the future, which is going to be fishing industry and then other bits of industry down here. Now, something I'm planning to do, we might get to it in this episode if I've got time, but is actually to build a quay wall along this sort of cliff edge here, which was suggested to me, and I actually tested out building the, what is it called, the flood wall. Super, it looks great. Like, this would be a perfect thing to effectively have on this, you know, so to get rid of this ugly looking texture here and have this replacing it. But I did some testing and it just doesn't quite fit. I couldn't get it to quite work with the monorail, excuse me, the tram slash metro. Yeah, metro. The metro running above it. And then this would be kind of jutting out from the road and stuff. Just couldn't really make it work. So we're going to go with a quay wall. And that should work pretty well, but I didn't want to focus too much on that right now. I want to get to the hotel stuff first. But we can see, you can hear all the little pings chiming away as our various industry is all leveling up. Now, we started the episode actually with 6% unemployment. We've already brought that down to 5. Population has just grown by 600 within starting the episode, basically, and we're gaining quite a nice amount. So we'll come back and look at this area in just a moment, but we'll head back over to our new residential district now at Madison. So effectively, Madison's district, if you want to have a look at it, is this shape here. So pretty small, pretty standard, kind of similar to how Prospect was, except it doesn't actually really have many services or things inside of it, and that's actually kind of by design. It was really just meant to be pure residential with maybe 1 or 2 leisure things, and that's purely because it's really close by a lot of other entertainment and services. It doesn't need it in its own vicinity, I don't think. So if we were to have a look at, let's see, well, we can look at the land value. Actually kind of gives us an indication of what's going on there. But you can see it's really high around this area generally. Let's see, parks and leisure. So there we have unique buildings. So unique buildings are all around it, effectively. Parks and plazas, similar sort of situation. The park area is obviously way off. Public libraries. This library does have coverage of Madison, so that's all good. And then we don't have any sports arenas. So probably not the best show of that there, but you know, they have their local transport really close by. The media broadcast buildings. They have a hospital right across from them, a high capacity fire station. They've got everything they need, really, like 1 block over, effectively, a couple blocks over. So I think they're doing totally fine. And on this side, we're going to do similar things, more services. So they're going to be wedged between the two, and they should be fine. Because I saw a few people just vocalizing a small concern about that, so I thought I would put your mind at ease. Alright, so let's just clean up this place before we get to the hotel thing. Just wanted to even out this road a little bit. And maybe we could use the line tool to put in some nice trees to cover up this area a bit. Because it looks like a little bear at the back. So we'll use the line tool, grab this spacing of 10. Maybe we could increase that spacing just a smidge. Smidge. 15 perhaps, per chance. Let's meet in the middle then, shall we? 12.5, so 12.5. Bit better. And we'll see how it looks in a moment. You want to start from this side? Yeah. Alright, it just kind of covers up that area a little bit better. Still not entirely sure what to do with this. You know, we have a sidewalk cafe here. We made it the modern style, and then there's 2 residential buildings. But these could potentially go, and we could put something else there. I also noticed that there's grid space for more that wasn't necessarily filled in, so hopefully that grows. There's a weird zoning issue there also. Yeah, think about it. We could always add in a few little extras around this place, or just even fill it in with trees and make it like a small mini park area. Could be nice. Okay, let's grab those trees again. Do a similar thing. Alright, just a little bit better, I think. A little bit more deliberate, like we know what we're doing. We have to keep faking it. I see another gap just about here. We'll try plug that one as well. Yeah, totally good. I noticed something. I've been thinking about building a pedestrian area, and you can put residences in pedestrian areas. I've been testing it out with that DLC. But the funny thing is, the buildings all have car parks, which I thought was quite funny, because it's like, well, cars aren't allowed to enter this area, and all the buildings are built with car parks. I don't know if anyone has any suggestions of buildings that don't have that somehow, without using additional mods. I just like to use what I've got. But I just noticed that's like a small problem that I've been seeing. It's not even a problem, it's just like aesthetically, oh, this doesn't quite make sense. Everyone's walking around, nice walkable area, and then it's like, well, there's just giant car parks behind all the buildings. 5% still. Oh, we could just leave it, see how these buildings grow over time. It'll take a while. They got to get educated, and that's something I've been keeping an eye on, actually, which is, if you remember, we have a high-capacity... Look at this place, by the way. How advanced are they now? They're geniuses here. Their education level is probably super high. Highly educated. Anyway, this school is pretty much at capacity. 2,200 is our capacity for students, I should say, and we're at 2,184, so there's 16 slots in there. Only the best of the best can make it into that elementary school, I guess. And then we have our high school right here, and that's at 2,200 out of 2,800. So that's always going to be about the number that comes out of the elementary school. Now, obviously, people can beyond kind of get to that high school if they need to, but... And also, there's elementary schools over there, so it could potentially go higher, but it seems almost one-to-one with it, you know? So we've got 2 other elementary schools here, so it's 839 and 791, both out of 900. So we could kind of round it together and say it's about 1,600 elementary kids there as well, and closing in on the capacity also. And then they have their other high school here, which is at 1,200. So room for more coming out of those elementary schools, I would say. Now, the reason that's kind of interesting or important, and the reason I'm focusing on it, is because this is more important to me, which is 2,800 students in the university. Kind of want to bring that all the way up to capacity, and then not build another one for a while and keep adding more people. And that's because I want people to go to high school, but not to go to university. And the best way I can think to do that is to just hit capacity of the university. So no one who graduates high school, or extra people who graduate high school, can't get in. And that way we could fill all those jobs that we have that are that third tier that I'm struggling to fill. A lot of people who are highly educated are taking it instead, which is leaving our offices kind of empty. And that's why I haven't expanded offices in a while. So if we have a look down at Crown Farms, for instance, look at the highly educated section. It's 1,009 over 125. So we have 800 to 900 people there that are too educated for the job. And we have a vacuum of the 2 tiers below that. So I'll just read it out for anyone who can't quite see it, because it's obviously small. In the educated tier, the yellow tier, it's 201 over 600. And then the well-educated, it's 61 over 275. So these are big gaps. You know, we've actually over-educated our population. It's a great problem, but great problem to have in a way, because we were the inverse of that for a long time, but then I guess I took my sweet time after we built that university, and many people have graduated now, and I didn't keep up with the demand for jobs, which is why our industry is becoming very uniform, I guess. But I was going to say expanding and having more jobs available to them. But you can see, highly educated. Just too many. Too many highly educated. So what does that mean? I guess it means we probably need more office space, and we have to hope that they take those office jobs. So let's continue to zone out the Manor District, our financial district. Zone it a bit more aggressively and let it really fill up. In fact, let's just go for it. We'll go for this whole thing. If 1 or 2 buildings has to become abandoned, so be it. Because remember, some of these buildings could take 700 people or so. And they're not going to... It's strange. I don't fully know how it works, because they're not just going to leave the Crown Farms jobs. They'll stay there. But these ones may be empty. It's kind of strange. You'd think that in a more realistic simulation, they'd be like, well, I'm overeducated for this job. You know, I'm hoping to be making more money. This big office has just opened up with all these jobs, but I'm not going to leave it because I guess I'm happy where I am or something. I don't know. I don't know what really forces them out. I'm not sure. So, you know, feedback appreciated on that one. But I've been reading around and I can't really find an answer to it either. Well, we can see some new office blocks coming in now. So that's going to have 500 workers. That's perfect. We'll just lock that as historical. Another 500 there. Lock that as well. Another 500 there. These are probably all going to look the exact same. What do we have here? 247. Perfect. Yeah, I don't want ones that are too big. Sometimes they appear with like 900 straight away. So I'm fine with this. Just speed up time and let them come in. So that's going to, you know, create this huge demand for jobs, for high education jobs. 114 in that one, 172, 468 in that one. And of course, they're all financial buildings, so they're getting that benefit from the stock market. So let's manage these investments. We're making a gain of 96k on our greasy gasoline. It's for cars, that's guaranteed investment. The more cars there are, the more money you make. Now, this will probably climb when it's the morning. I'm not going to try and game it specifically, but we'll wait till the morning. If it climbs, I'm not going to sell at the dip either. I'm not a fool. We'll wait till it climbs up a bit, and then we'll cash out. We'll use that money then to upgrade this building. This building's going to get even taller, I think. We should get a few extra little parks and things that we can use. I meant to say, I filled this area in with the bronze panda and the bronze cow. That's from the financial district DLC. I actually don't even know where you see that. Other parks, maybe? I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. But those two are from the financial district DLC, and we should be unlocking more once this levels up, I think. And we could already have unlocked it if we wanted to, because we just need to make 70,000 in income. I just haven't been really trying to rush ahead and build this building up, because it looks really ridiculous the taller and taller it gets. So I've been trying to just keep it in line with the size of everything else at the moment. Alright, so our buildings have come in. We've locked them all as historical for now. So some of them are leveling up. I've actually noticed if you turn off historical after it's already leveled up, they're not going to get any bigger. So not the best idea for me, because what I'll have to do if I want these ones to grow is actually just knock them down and let a new thing replace it. Turn off the historical and just let it grow. They won't ever grow again at the moment. But at least we can fill up the district and then just choose to knock the ones that we want to get bigger, which is actually somewhat realistic. I mean, that's what happens in real life. They don't just build on top of each other. They'll knock one down and then rebuild. Alright, well, let's see what the unemployment's at now. 4%, so we're bringing it down. Alright, so, actually it is nighttime, so let's speed up time. And maybe I could do a little bit with the quay wall, could I? Nah, I'd say we'll leave it. We could add in a little bit more generic industry, though. Totally fine with doing that. So let's do a bit more here. And a bit more here. So I was also having a look at potential future industries that we could invest in. And I noticed, like, there's a decent amount of ore around this area. There's a lot on the riverbed, like the dried up riverbed that kind of squiggles around this way up to the mountains. So an ore industry would be pretty cool. I was talking with someone in our Discord, like, you don't need to actually set up the ore industry extraction stuff myself. The first tier of any industry can actually just be imported via the various, you know, the rail line, the cargo line, whatever it might have, the ferries, things like that, the cargo ships, I should say. And they'll just bring in the ore as a raw product, or they'll bring in the forestry as a raw product, the wood. But if you want to get to the processing stage, which is the first layer of refinement, you have to be the one to do that. Now, it makes sense to get the extraction phase under your belt as well, because it's tougher to grow the industry. Because those jobs typically fill the job count the most, and if you remember, industries grow based on how many workers you have, as well as how many resources you produce. So if you're at the raw level, the bottom tier. You're making a lot more stuff, you're hiring a lot more people, you're going to advance a lot quicker. But you could skip that first tier if you wanted to and go, you know what, we're just going to import ore and we'll just refine it. Or we're just going to import wood and we'll just process it into timber and paper and things like that. So I've been thinking about it, tempted to kind of do, but I think a little bit of extraction wouldn't be the worst idea. We don't have to go too crazy with it, like I said, because the patches aren't very big. So just a couple extractor buildings around here, set up a makeshift ore industry maybe, and then maybe it feeds down into here, the generic industry. We could maybe start removing that and get some processing buildings for ore, perhaps, or, English is so funny, I'm saying ore quite a lot. Or what we could also do is just build out shoreline out on this side and actually have the, you know, people can just hop across this way or whatever, have pedestrian bridges going over the rail line, no problem, and have them working out there. So I'm thinking about all that as we look to the future, but I think the immediate industry I want to build is fishing, and build the fishing up on this side and on this side of the riverbed. That could be pretty good. And then you can build a fish market somewhere in this city. All right, let's check on just one other thing. I'm just curious. Traffic, how's it doing? 78 here in the morning. That's okay. A little busy in certain places, but free-flowing. I wouldn't be complaining personally. All right, good. So here, and 77. Here's what I want to do. I want to build up here and make a sort of nature reserve. So let's get started. Now, I don't have any grand plan for this, I got to be honest. But I was having a look at, like, the hotel I want to use. So we've got this really nice one here. The Mountain Lodge. A large wooden lodge with cozy rooms and excellent room service. Perfect for a nature getaway. The only issue with this is it has a demand for shopping and offices and business. So what I'm thinking of doing is building it somewhere fairly high up, not all the way, but fairly high up, halfway maybe. And along this area, next to it, having a little office, one or two, and having a little couple of shops. And then having a, you know, a mountain trail that goes further up, as if like people, that's where they want to go for a hike, and so on and so forth. And then building maybe the lungs of the city. It's a really big park that you can build, and building it somewhere out here as like this really dense destination that people can kind of go to. But then we can also smatter the area with other cabins, the nature reserve cabins, these ones, the rental cabins. A few of those in a line next to a nature park. This place could be quite nice. So let's just get started. We're going to well, I was going to say free ball it. Yeah, I guess that's kind of right. Just going to wing it, effectively. So we'll start off with the dirt road. And I was going to just come in from maybe somewhere like here and just start winding up the contour lines of the hill itself. So it is the morning, but we'll just brighten it up a little bit more. Advance time by 2 hours. So let's get started. We'll use freeform roads. Don't be too strict with it. So there's a junction here and a junction here. So we'll try to meet it somewhere in the middle, I guess. Right about there. Doesn't like that. Straight away. There you go. That really was an omen of things to come, because of course going into a build like this where you've got pretty much unlimited potential, just unlimited creative freedom, and you've only got a lofty goal in mind to guide you there, you're gonna have a lot of trial and error. So to save you the time of all the do-overs, got a handy time lapse here, and I'll just talk you through the next couple of minutes as we're looking to build up this mountain lodge. So the idea was to have a windy road that goes all the way up this mountain, or almost all the way to the top, and then have a hiking trail that kind of takes you the rest of the way. As a pit stop halfway up, you've got this mountain lodge where people, you know, stay there and then they go on their hiking trails or they do whatever. And the thing with the mountain lodge is it requires sightseeing, commerce, business, and nature. So it has hefty requirements for a bit of everything, which meant carving out this plateau here, bringing the gravel roads across, and then placing the mountain lodge in at the back. It's a beautiful building. Probably my favorite building in the game so far. I just think it looks so good. I think it might be more detailed than any other building, which is maybe why I like it so much. But having placed that building, it obviously comes with some paving, and then that asks the question, like, how do I blend this into this area and make it look kind of natural? So decided to, obviously adjusting terrain and all that stuff all the time, and thinking about zoning for where these mini offices and these mini shops are going to go. But the big thing was trying to figure out how we can make it look part of the area and make it like a scenic mountain lodge. So using the paving tools from one of the mods, the Surface Painter, I think, started laying out gravel everywhere. So I decided to give the place a double car park, even though it has a car park built into it, knowing that we're going to have all these extra shops and stuff. It just seemed to make sense to me to add a few extra places for people to park, right? And then we could always turn off parking on the road to force them to kind of use that area to make it look a bit better and a bit more organized. So decided to just lay it out with gravel at first, and I was like, this is pretty good, although it's a bit strange why you'd have harsh, rigid lines on gravel. I guess you could argue maybe they're spray painted on or something, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Other than that, I'm also using the third one over on my selection bar, which is actually, it looks like grass, but it's called Ruin. And it looks like grass with loads of leaves on it, or like little bits of pebbles and things. So it's a nice, I don't know, it's just a nice mixture of like, it's not just clean, super clean grass, it's like a lived in grass area. People are walking around in it. So it's quite nice to sprinkle that in every now and then. So on the base of the building, I decided to grab a decal for like cobble lock, and then I did the same here in the car park. I got a sandstone cobble lock, which comes from the pedestrian pack, I think. And it's just a decal. It's like a 2D image stamp that goes onto the surface of the ground below it, and you can actually use the line tool to get it to be super lined up. I didn't realize that till after, so I meticulously went in and made sure every square lines up with every other square. So the base of the building, so it's not just gravel the whole way up to it. I thought it would look better, obviously, to have that kind of decal at the base of it, the stone kind of decal. Dressing it up by using some of the assets that are part of the building themselves, trying to find the same sort of plant pots, but also adding some color with the flower beds and some of the bushes and things like that. So I used the bushes because the car park had bushes, so it seemed to make sense to me to do that. Anyway, I'm kind of lagging behind my own time-lapse here, but here we are adding in the lungs of the city. This giant park that has a bunch of what I can assume are like redwood trees, right? These super tall, giant trees. So I was trying to adjust the terrain because this is such a large building and we're on a big slope that it messes with the terrain a lot. So I was trying to make more cliffs to make it look like it's not just this one place that has a cliff. It's like lots of little cliffs are all over the place here. And then I copied the tree just from the tree selection thing and then just used it everywhere I could in this area to make it seem like the lungs of the city are a bit bigger than just the actual main building itself. It kind of spreads out and goes further. But everything was looking very bare, so of course then adding in some bushes and some grass and weeds and things like that. I'm trying to put them at the base of the trees where I could, and then I sprinkle them in between as well. And later we'll get to some rocks and things like that. So just again, trying to make it look a bit more natural and full. I'd only realized just somewhere around this point when I started to add in rocks. I think we're going to get to that now. Yes. So I knew about these before, I'd used them before, but I couldn't really find a place for them because they are huge. But this seemed perfect. It's like, okay, we have this large slope at the back of the, excuse me, the lungs of the city themselves. But these giant rocks would be perfect sort of kind of cliff edge to kind of gate the two different areas and separate them. And they came baked in with a bunch of, not all of them, but the big boulders with a bunch of leaves around the bottom. The vegetation, I think it's just called. It's like high vegetation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And when I noticed that, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be perfect. So placing, and we've used them before at Roundabouts. It's not like I didn't know about it. So grabbing those and then sprinkling the leaves and the high vegetation in underneath the redwood is going to really like fill up the area and make it seem like it's a proper like forest in there for people to visit. So wanted to get a little bit of the sand texture and just kind of paint it around the dirt trail and also the rocks themselves. So just again breaking up the texture a bit to make it look a bit more lived in, like I mentioned before with the sort of quote ruin texture. And here we are adding in those leaves I talked about. So there's multiple variants of it. Some are thicker than others and some are bigger than others. Excuse me again. I just had my dinner. So yeah, just making sure that's paved everywhere I can. Now it's fairly sparse, the one I was using. I did that on purpose because then I wanted to go back in with the thicker one and just add it in the more denser packed regions deeper in. So I start doing that now. So not everywhere is going to get the really dense ones. The further out you go, obviously the thinner I want the leaves to kind of dissipate. But yeah, that's going to be it for now. We'll be back to this area a little bit after we do a little bit more building for the park itself. Alright, so I'm actually really happy with the progress so far. I thought it was enough time put into it that we could actually come back to the gameplay, let time play, see how our offices and commercial zones grow to support the hotel itself. Of course, it's a hotel. We're trying to attract as many people to it as possible. It has a demand for certain business and shopping opportunities, as well as big landmarks such as the lungs of the city that we built right across from it. So that park is going to do a lot for this place, but also then trying to blend it out to make it look a little bit bigger than it actually is by copying the same type of tree, using the vegetation and the rocks around it, and then like hiding that horrible stretch texture that you get from when you've got a big discrepancy in the height of the land. So the slope was so significant there. I think it works to cover it with all these rocks. Hopefully you guys like the idea of that. Not totally sold on how the trail initially curves around this bit at the beginning here, but we'll work on it. And then everything around here is all subject to change. Well, I haven't done anything to it, right? That's just the default that was there already. Now, this kind of cracked mud texture is going to be for the oil deposits that are actually located around this area. Even ever so lightly, it adds that kind of texture. Largely going to scrub most of that. We might have little fishing piers or just little docks and things that people can walk on. Might be nice around this area. And then also, we're going to add in our nature reserves. That's going to be the actual local park to this area that's going to bring a lot of people in. That's one little concern I have. It's the only way in is going to be this little dirt trail that takes you in, and potentially having all these hotspots could cause a bit of congestion, a bit of traffic. So maybe a tram stop nearby, a way for people to kind of walk further in, or even a shuttle bus, just one lone bus that takes you up and back could be kind of a good idea. But I was also thinking that I'm planning eventually to build some ferry stops down here. We could go with something nearby that's like a cable car that could take you right up, because I did notice that they're in the game. So we could actually do that kind of along this kind of cliff edge here, and cable cars that bring you right up and maybe stop you just at the back, or take you even further up. I'm not really sure. So those are the opportunities that we have afforded to us, so we'll have to think about how to do all that. So to let time play, we'll of course actually need to add in power, so let's get that going. So we'll just... It's kind of temporary as it grows out. I'm sure we won't need to have it as ugly as this, but we'll just do this for now. In fact, we'll just go all the way to there, because that's kind of almost like the cable car itself. Almost. We're almost mirroring how that's going to look. So I'll just bring that right to the edge to make sure we get power. Okay, cool. Right, and then water, of course. So we'll bring a pipe all the way up. I'll curve it a little bit with the road. Why not? Just for the sake of continuity, I guess. And there is going to be a park building here too, so it'll actually need to follow that road anyway. Alright, so there we go. Services are done. Cable cars, what a wonderful invention. Yes, so Tyler Chapman has caught on to the fact that I did place a cable car as a test, and then I was like, not sold on this just yet, so we'll leave that for the future. Something else I've just noticed. I've never used cable cars before, so I didn't even build it or let time play or see how it works. Kind of just curious to see, like, would it fit in there? And it does seem like it would make sense, seeing as the land climbs up quite a bit. So we can let people start parking around here. I'm fine with that. Alright, so we have our first little buildings popping in. 3 workers. Love the sound of that. Oh, I just thought of something, actually. That's a commercial building. That's an office building. I'm just going to knock this one. We'll make this a district. Daffodil Heights. It's kind of actually a nice name. What we could do with that is change the policy of the district itself for commerce to be organic and local produce. This should just give us buildings that look a little bit less, I don't know, city-like, right? We should get buildings that look more farm-orientated, so that might look a little bit better. Just think this could maybe move a bit. There we go, something like that. Hey, people are parking in my little Cobbllock Bay areas. Alright, so has that messed with anything too much? Not that much. Wasn't planning on having office there. Don't know what I could have there. We could just try this. Oh no, a little trail actually. A path that comes out this way or something. That could be nice. And of course we can use gravel to overlay the paving that's coming in here. Or we could use our own kind of decal paving. We can make it look a little bit neater, I think, which would be nice. Alright, so we'll just let time play on ×2. 12 workers here. Happy Face Travel Agency. Well, is it perfect? I don't know. Maybe kind of. Building actually looks alright, which is the important thing, really. It's what I'm most concerned with. And we can move a few of these to get them closer to each other, per chance. Commercial green building. Yeah, we'll see what this looks like. So it's only going to go to level 1. No need to make it a historic building. That's okay. It's a bit modern for my liking for this area. This one is much nicer. Whoops. Yeah, Mom's Sprouts. And what is that? That's a 2x2. So we've got a 2x2 slot there. I'll just get rid of that. And that was a 3x2. Yeah, so maybe that should be a 2x2 as well or something. Can make it look a little bit nicer. So let's get rid of it. I'm not totally happy with it. So we'll just pop it back in like this and see what happens. Alright, well anyway, we'll let it do its thing. Let's put in our own park. So we have the Nature Reserve main gate. I was thinking of placing it here, because that kind of affords us access around this side and around this side. So that's pretty good. And we can just paint the entire area. Not that it really matters. There is a smaller variant small nature gate, so we could have other ways in as well. Although that is a main gate, I guess we have to build it to get some of the small ones. Alright, let's get started. So, we've got nature reserve side gates, tents, campfire sites, etc. All good. I don't think I'm going to build a fence around the place. Like, I feel like it should just be kind of an open thing. Maybe you could have a fence like along down here or something, so it's like, yeah, once you drive up, it's like the expectation that, I mean, people could jump out of their car, I guess, and do whatever, but I don't know. The expectation is that you're paying for the park or the hotel or something. Not really sure how that would work, but let's just leave it. Oh, hey, we could say it's a free area. National park. It's free. Let's just get in here. I guess there's no harm in that, right? Ticket price, free. We got enough money. No point punishing everybody. We're getting money from the hotel, so think of it that way. So that's called Broad Park. Alright, so let's go with the park area. I'll just paint it all the way out here. Why not? Paint the whole thing, pretty much. Bonk. Broad Park, Daffodil Heights. Okay, so, yeah, maybe just really quickly, if I could try to be quick, I'll get the resource tool. We're just going to get rid of that oil, because it's kind of ruining the look and feel of the place. Get rid of it, at least until it gets to the edges of the cliffs. That would make the most sense, I think. Yeah, a bit better there, I think. Nice. Ooh, yeah, something like, whoops, something like that's kind of cool. Oh, it's an electric charging station. Interesting. Sure, why not? You know, why the hell not? I think I would use the cobble block texture again or something to just overlay it. So I won't bore you too much with it, but I think having this, just something about it, I think just looks a bit better. I'll tell you what, while we're here, let's just do it this one time. You then can let me know after it's done what you think. Because I was a little hesitant to do this initially. Thinking that, there must be a better texture to use, but I think this one works. I was looking for like just a general kind of cobble lock. And there is a cobbled street. It's for the pedestrian area. But I wasn't totally sold on it. I'll tell you what, get rid of that little last bit there. Maybe I could use move tool, bring that down a bit. And then the paving tool to maybe just add in some gravel on top of the concrete. Or even ruin. Ruin seems nice. Despite the name. Maybe not. Gravel. Bring the gravel all the way out to the edge. Yeah, a bit better, I think. Ah, that's a bit of an issue, the way it does that. I could put another decal on top, maybe that would make it look a bit better. I wonder, can you, to prevent Z fighting, can you, like, lower or raise these? You can, actually, so I'll just click all of them. Or at least a few. The ones I can get. And we'll go 1, 2... Sorry, the other way, isn't it? Okay, let's try that. Hopefully that... Nah, it still flickers a bit. Well, anyway, we'll leave it for now. This one doesn't, so that's nice. It's not too bad, I guess. Alright, I'll see if I can fix it in future. So, the Nature Reserve Park is open for business. Let's head over here. Let's smoothen out that terrain just a bit. Soften it. Okay, so, let's have a look at what we've got. So this is the Nature Reserve. We have our fence and our trail. Nature Reserve side gate, campfire sites, so we can put these anywhere. People will just kind of find them, won't they? Campfire seems a little dangerous in a heavily woodland area, but tents and stuff like these, that could be fun to have just on the edges even here. They have to have road access, don't they? Or trail access at the very least. So yeah, let's start building out a trail. I'll tell you what, we'll time-lapse this as well, because it might take me a while to figure out good trail positions. Yeah, good job, Darren. This time you've actually learned that if you don't have a concrete goal in mind and a plan, things can take a very long time. And in actual fact, this one didn't actually take too long because I decided to rein it in terms of the scope and size of what it could have been, and there's a good reason for that. The park needs time to develop. Once it levels up, then we'll get access to more buildings, and I can forward plan and think about using some of the buildings I don't have access to right now, because I'm not sure how big certain things are going to be. There's things like lookout towers and various other like picnic tables and parks and stuff in there. So until we get to that point, we're just going to be building 2 small trails. This is a very small one here that's going to cut through the lungs of the city park. but it's going to just be super small. But I think in the future, I'll actually split it, fork the road, and curl all the way around the back of the actual, you know, quote, park itself. The ploppable park, if you will. So that's not done yet, just a very small trail to kind of get the feel of things, and now I'm doing the bigger one. So this initially started with me curving all the way around to the back and then up. Decided to go over it again and do it a bit more straightforward. Because it's not a road, it doesn't need to have the super smooth curves that a road would. It's a trail, it's a walking trail, so it can be a little bit more jagged in certain places, so I'm okay with that. But obviously trying to follow contour lines to more gradually come up the hill would make sense anyway. This one is also a main path, where the other one is just a side path. So the main path actually has lights and stuff. It's actually, sorry, it's called a path with decorations. So it's decorated, it has lights that string all the way up to the very top, whereas the other one was a cut through, so it doesn't actually have that. Just adding a campsite here on top. Like I said, I don't have access to everything just yet, so just trying to feel it out with some tents, the open campfire, some binoculars, some bigger tents, picnic tables, that kind of thing. But in the future, I think we'll probably make something bigger up here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We've now built a couple little trails coming off of our national park here, our nature reserve, which is effectively being used as hiking trails. At least that's what I wanted to use it for, and tent campsites and things like that. So I built two little trails, one that kind of winds its way up the cliff, or mountain or hill or whatever you want to call it. We'll call it a mountain, all the way to the very peak, the summit, where we've got a little campsite, just very makeshift small campsite with some binoculars to look out and peer into people's homes across the bay. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks. I think it looks quite nice. And then I've kind of attached it onto the gravel road that ends up here as well. Maybe certain things might be built up here that people could actually drive all the way up. Not too sure just yet. The other one is a very small trail that then leads in this way. It's just a very small cut-through trail. It kind of cuts through the lungs of the city, as it were. Small little campfire site here. I think this one makes more sense because it's built in and away from the trees. It has its own shelter, that kind of thing. Whereas the one on the top of the summit isn't really near any trees, so it's more open. At least that's the idea. Less prone to forest fires, hopefully. Maybe there should be a fire station up here, actually, something. I wonder, is there any kind of, you know, local rangers? Oh yeah, there is the fire watch tower. Yeah, not a bad idea, huh? Probably want to build that somewhere. Maybe we should put it somewhere like here. We'll just leave it there for now. And it's a pretty good spot. It has good visibility on pretty much everything, I would say. But I would say even add in a couple of these just for the... I know it has coverage, which is great, but just for the aesthetic of it, I think it would make sense to have a multiple in here. Run by the old cabin themselves. Actually, speaking of, that's probably what we'll do up here. We can add in that extra hotel. Because we have other ones. We have the small rental cabins. So yeah, they can be right up here. Why the hell not? Add a few of them together. I don't see what the problem is with that. A couple rental cabins. People who want to go on the hiking trail and stuff. I think that's kind of cool. And we can shape it a little bit better in the future. But anyway, so yeah, we have just a small cut through here. So this cut through doesn't actually have any lights on it, whereas this trail is lit the whole way up. So this is like the main hiking trail, whereas this small one here and this small one here is more just like a small trail that's almost carved out by people. We have a little campfire site there, little makeshift tents. Someone's gone very far in over there, very adventurous. But ultimately, you know, close by. It's maybe more the family reserve necessarily than the more proficient hikers that might take that trail. Anyway, let's let time play. Let's see how we're doing. Do we need to hook it up with water? No, we've got water. What about power? Ooh, nice. It's spread from the lungs of the city, which is great. Cool. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I think this should be good. Now, can we say, I've said 0 ticket prices. What about policies? Animal ethics. No, we don't have a zoo. Advertisement campaign. Draws more visitors. We'll do that if we feel like we're lacking. Well, I suppose why the hell not? Let's do it. Main park? No, we already have a main park. Yeah, don't do fireworks. The park area will not organize fireworks while this policy is active. Good. We don't want fireworks up here. Not safe. Night tours. 30% more visitors during nighttime. Yeah, why not? Even more fun. Amusement park buildings and recycle our garbage. Decreases garbage accumulation by 20% for the nature reserve buildings. Cost 10 per building. Yeah, that's okay too. So they're lacking a bit of water. So let's get them some. That's where our road ends. And we have our little rental cabin. So these guys are loving it, right? So whack up the prices for them. Because they've amazing sights. They're next to a fantastic park. They're across from the famous lungs of the city. These guys, not as happy. Again, they need more shopping and business. But they also need a lot of nature and Sightseeing. So they have their sightseeing. They need a bit more nature. We got our buildings coming in though. Commercial green building. It's actually coming in on a gravel path, which is nice. This is going to be the same as that one, so that's a bit odd looking. Might have to try and replace that and see what else we get. Is my time going really slow? No, that's at the correct time. The buildings are just coming. Oh, this one looks nice. Hey, people have showed up. That's cool. Hey, someone biked up here. That's the way to do it. It went, it's trampled my beautiful flowers, actually. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. That's exactly what I want. I want loads of those. If I could have the whole area look like that, that'd be great. And now that they're in, we're going to get a little bit more shopping and a bit more business. So this is our one build business, and this one as well. These two look really great for the area. It's almost like an admin building or something for this area. And for, you could imagine, the park itself. Things like that. Maybe they can handle lost and found. All these types of things. Oh my god, yeah, people are up here. Look at this. Oh my god. They are loving it. Careful for the rocks. Holy crap. Move that one out of the way. Yeah, great. I love to see them flooding in like this. Where did they all come from? This was so quick. Not much time has played since I opened it. What a great success so far. Uneducated child and nature tourist driving to tent number 1. Yeah, cool. Maybe we could speed that road up just a little bit. I know it's a dirt trail, but what speed is it? 30 miles an hour? You could do 40 on that. Sorry, that's kilometers, of course. 25 miles an hour? Yeah. 30? I'd say give it a solid 30 if you can manage it. Yeah, come in here nice and slow then. That's fine. Wow, the place is getting busy. Yeah. Nice. I'm thrilled. This is great. I'm going to delete this one, see if we can get lucky and grow another one of these. It's a shame that we just don't have a bit more zoning. The way the zoning has gone, I suppose, with this road. But it's no big deal. I'm just hoping we'll get a few more of them in there. I wasn't sure what to put on this side, but I think now that it seems like it wants even more office, it does make me go, okay, maybe another office building there. Or actually, we'll do this again here. Another office building right here. Small one. Low density commerce on both these areas. And then there's room for like little pathways and trails to go between. And then I'll add in some of my own benches and stuff to maybe fill the area. Can make the whole thing gravel if we wanted to as well. People are just going to be parking up here. Not a fan of that. You have a dedicated parking space area, so I'd rather you'd use that. So maybe we'll just cut the parking in a few of these places, like on one side of the road at least. How about that? I think that's reasonable. In fact, I'll flip it to the other side. You can park next to the lungs of the city. Just not on top of these like mini businesses that are here. Yeah, you shouldn't be parking in there at all. Okay, cool. Some people using their electric charge. It is an electric car as well. How the hell did it know that? Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Nice. If you've got a suggestion for a name of this place or a name of the mountain, you know, let me know. I can't really think of anything. And I also like asking you guys. So, to me, I feel like we should do something like this. Bring them together. I don't know if they'll delete or anything because I've moved them. Yeah, see, it goes from green to orange, so I think it has to stay green. Something like that. And we can bring that pathway in between. It's a bit of a, you know, fast food lunch or food truck type area. Add in some extra picnic tables and we will be laughing. So what do we have here? The fairest coffee of them all. And then it says burned bean. A place for your stuff. That's a place for your stuff as well. Yeah, more of those are good. I guess too many and it's a bit weird. Mom sprouts. Nice, the shopping is filling up nicely. What about that office? So that office didn't seem to change, although no one's working yet. Now it's operating normally. 6. Maybe we could do one more. It's a kind of a shame that you have to fill it up so much, but one more office over there. Then we'll color in the area a bit later. But yeah, this is great. Popularity 84. That's really good. Manage our hotels now. We have the popularity we need. We just need a bit more money from these. I would say add in a few more rental cabins as well, really. You could probably get those numbers up. And people are arriving all the time here, so no big deal. I'll have to shape the terrain around here a bit better, but I'd like to have them even closer together if I could. Just a few dedicated cabins for this place. How's our park? Let's have a look. Level 1, 34 visitors so far have arrived. Great. Alright, there you have it. I did it. Now, while we're waiting on that to do its thing, I'm going to go out and try to build this quay wall I talked about before. So what we'll have to do for this is actually just remove these trees altogether. So just select the trees, just remove all these. Because we're not going to need them anymore. Now this is actually a suggestion from someone. I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it. But they said if you use the flood wall or the quay wall, it could look really great. I think it was, they said quay wall. It could look really great along this area. And I totally agree. It's just kind of finicky to build, so see if we can get a first go. So just get rid of some of these things. I think I can leave it at that. Maybe just get rid of some of these rocks. There we go. Once you get one clicked and you just hold down your mouse button, you just have to hover over them, then you don't have to click them individually. Alright, so we'll try that. So I'm thinking, to do this properly, I think I need to go build a parallel quay to the actual metro line. Seems a bit awkward there. No, it's actually pretty straight. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Okay. Alright, so let's find this flood wall. Quay wall. Sorry, I keep saying flood wall. The flood wall will not work. The quay wall should work just fine. So we'll use this one. And we could use the one with trees. It would look much nicer that way. So we'll select that, and then we go into our parallel mode. So I guess we'll have to do this. It kind of disappears when I... Oh, no, it's still there now. The network multi-tool thing disappeared for a second. We go parallel mode. We'll pause time just because it's getting dark. And I guess you could start it just around here. You can always latch onto it in future if you need to. Bring it all the way to here if we can, buddy. Alright, it doesn't like going after junctions, so we'll do this then. Flip it in with tab. Ah, so it might look like the spacing is huge, but we can see where it actually is, so we have to be careful with this now. And then we're gonna... I'll then try to fit this road to the quay wall, if that makes sense. So we can come in a bit, obviously. Let's bring it in, bring it way in. Bring it right up against the edge of the track is where I want it to be. So about there. Right along the edge. No one's really supposed to be walking this. But maybe you could have some areas where people can cross over, I guess. Seems a bit dangerous. Yeah, it's matched the height really nicely. Everything's looking good. And it should get rid of a lot of the land that's kind of encroaching up on that area. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Do we need to raise or lower it? I don't think so. The height looks good, but let's just test it. It's very hard to see. This is where it was. If we hold control, we can bring it just ever so slightly down. Might bring it to there, so it's just a bit lower than the rail. Alright, commit to that with enter, and then we can see what we've done. Alright, so that's what we've got. So here is where it's starting to take shape. Not fully done yet, but starting to take shape, I would say. Now, you could rebuild this parallel to that and just shape it right in there. Will they try that? It could be a bit messy. Let's try it. Well, we have the freedom at the back here. I think we should. Alright, so here's our industrial road. We'll use the parallel tool. We'll click the key. Follow the key side all the way around to here. Flip it in. Now, this is way off the ground, so this is going to be a bit... This is where it's a little finicky. I want it to be right up against the edge of it. Otherwise, there'll be bits of land that kind of get in the way. Then we have to sink it right down. So that would keep it flat. We'll have to go out to the edge here where we can actually see it. Yeah, it's a tricky thing to spot with the highlight. Now, it doesn't seem like... I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like it's matching the incline or decline, does it? Or it is, but it's different than what I'd like it to be. Hmm. Alright, well, let's just commit to it. I'll do this, and then I think I can still shape the nodes together. Let's try that. Hopefully it's not a big mess up. Alright, so that's what we have. So let's now try to blend these using the network multi-tool union nodes, right? We want to merge this one and that one. So it just does it automatically. Good. This is looking great because it's right along the edge. So that's totally fine. It's exactly what I wanted it to be like. Yeah. Alright. That's actually worked pretty well. Can't believe it went so flawlessly first time. Yeah, pretty good. Now, I think it's actually raised, the terrain here a little bit when it didn't really need to be. And it's lowered it here massively. So we'll bring this back over this way. Don't mind keeping it separate from the quay wall just for the moment. I'll bring this back up to where it was. About there. Yeah. And we'll just have to kind of manually do it. I know you could use the slope tool, but I don't want to do that actually. I just want to manually bring this up to a certain height. So we'll turn on contours, I guess, to see how we're doing here. Right, so you can come down just a smidge. It's the second time saying smidge today. I'll bring this one down as well. And now we can get a bit more aggressive with it, bring that down a lot. It's going to keep our terrain nice and flat. So we're on this, like, we're in this little basin down here now. Yeah, not bad. Now we can use something like the slope tool if we want to have a really nice and even slope, I guess. And we can even flatten some of that terrain in there. Alright, let's turn off contour lines. That's what we've got. Much better, I think. Much better. Very smooth. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Okay, so our bus route. I have a shuttle bus that goes around this place. Was messed up a bit by it. So that's one of our stops. Yeah, this can get a bit messy. So drag a stop to move it. We'll just drag it to here and then move it back. Oh yeah, we've cut the road, of course. I was like, why isn't it not able to find a way in? So we'll bring this back, just straight back out where it was. Turn on that grid. Okay. Don't remember if this came out all the way. No, I don't think it did. I wouldn't have had two that close. I don't think so. Maybe it went all the way to the edge and then cut in. I don't know. Let's just do that for now. That's really messed up. So yeah, actually, you know what? Let's just get rid of it. I'll decide what happens here later. But this one definitely needs to stay. I'm fine with that. Alright, we're just going to shape this so it's more even. I want it to be kind of perpendicular to the road that's coming in. So it'll be angled for this road, but not for anything else. And to be honest, we could take away those traffic lights. I don't think they're needed. Alright. Something like that. So yeah, I'll look back on what this was before. I just can't remember right now. How's our zoning? Right, and how's the land? Let's maybe get the level tool, shape it like this or something. Smoothen it back out. Yeah, so subject to a little bit of change, obviously, but I think that definitely looks way better, and it matches the metro line, which I think looks good. All right, just let time play. Let's see if we can help fix this bus route. So does the bus know where it needs to go? It's trying to get to there next, right? So let's just move this one, and now it understands what it's got to do. So we'll move that back to here. There's a pathway that people can walk in. Yeah, the pathway did cut across. That was one thing it helped do. Or it helped do. You know what I mean. It helped people get from there to there. So let's move this one just forward or back. Hopefully it recorrects. No? No, I'm obviously missing something. Alright, let's just follow this one. So that goes in. So you drop people off here. That stop doesn't even really seem like it's necessary anymore. Let's get rid of that one. Goes around, it drops people here. Comes in, takes a left turn, drops them right there at shoreline. The petroleum plants, comes forward, turns, and drops from there. Alright, so the other route is just a separate route. It's an alternating route. It goes forward, down, drops people here, and then... Where's your next stop? Your next one's there. That's really weird. Yeah, I'm kind of confused by that. Is that better? Ah, there we go. It was just that one that was messing it up. Yeah, I might have to redo that route. Anyway, we'll leave it for another time. It's weird seeing all these buildings. They're like, yeah, they've leveled up nicely, actually. Not all the way. Covered by more services, even more. So you've got your... Oh yeah, I saw something saying that they can even appreciate being covered by death care. So maybe I'll put in a crematorium down here. Is that weird? I feel like it's a little weird to have it in the industry, but at the same time, it's almost like, well, I actually know that we do need one. We've had a lot of problems with clearing out the dead out this way. Some of those buildings not being filled. No, and then this one's abandoned, and a residence that was abandoned. God damn, that's very unusual. And these two, not enough workers. They need to hit 50%. So one of them will be able to continue, but not all of them. Man, I'd be a little worried going up this dirt road. We might put in some of our own street lights. Oh, that looks cool though. Yeah. Alright, let's just do cinematic mode for a second. It does kind of ruin the vibe of the mountain lodge having some of these smaller buildings, but I hope you understand that I feel like I need to do it, right? To get that rating up. Because at the end of the day, it has a requirement for business and office, and we're not even meeting it. With everything we have. That's why I was trying to use the organic commercial buildings, but it's like the offices are the ones that seem like a bit big. Kind of ruin it a bit. But yeah, like I said, I think we could pave it and stuff and it would make it look a lot nicer. How many people are working here? Yeah, they pretty much filled up actually. That office I really like. Let's keep that one steady. And that's customer services. Customer services, yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, happy with all that. Fire watchtower looking over everybody. People are, look at them, they're taking the trail. Hell yeah. She's carrying a bag on wheels all the way up here. God damn, Carol Peters. She's probably got bulging veins on her forearms. Oh, that's cool, yeah. Yep, place is looking good. Happy with it. Looking forward to unlocking more though, so we can build onto it. It's going to be a while to get to the next level. We've already hit 142 though out of 500, so it's only a matter of time. Alright, I think that might have to be it for this episode, right? We've crossed 50,000. We've lowered the unemployment to 1% again, because we've overbuilt. We're hitting more and more people in the university all the time. We're closing up on that 3,000 number, which I really want to hit. We beautified this area slightly. Traffic isn't too bad, right? This is the morning commute now, 77%. There's no real commuting option to get over here, though, so it could be the case that maybe with trams, could we add in a tram stop nearby? There is one there, but for the outer loop, which is our outer east loop, where's the latest stop for these guys? Yeah, so you guys don't have a stop anywhere. Oh, they have one here. I'll just move that one up. Well, you know what? We stop in both places. Why the hell not? Give people options. So you can stop here before the junction, I guess. And you can stop before the nature trail. Now, to be fair, I do think, like I said, we'll do something like down here with cable cars and ferries. So I bought the 2 tiles around here so we can loop a ferry around to this industrial area now if we want to. So people could commute that way if they wanted to. It'll take a long time, though, on ferry. But it could be like tours and stuff that people want to do. And then also they could take the cable car that goes all the way up to the mountain lodge. Yeah. 96 out of 120. Let's just bring this to 63 and see if we can get more people in over time. Daffodil Heights. Yeah, I need a good name for that. I'm obsessed with looking at the area. I just think it looks great. I'm very happy with it. It only needs just some the flooring needs to be redone here, but other than that, I'm very happy with it indeed. There's some pathways to cut through. We have our new lungs of the city that everyone's coming to visit. The factories are all upgraded. Yep, so I think I'll call it there. In the next episode, or just in between actually, sorry I should say, in between episodes I'll have a look at what I did different here, rearrange that bus route that's going around this way, because it's obviously just it's obviously inefficient at the moment, so I want to fix that. But not many people take that shuttle bus anyway. It seems most people just are happy to walk when they get out of this train station. So they get out of the train station, they cross over. Some people get the bus, there's a stop here. Most people just seem to walk to where they need to go. Yeah, I'd say place is looking good. I'm very happy with it. All right, that's going to have to be it for this episode. Thanks for hanging out with me. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, so after the recording, I actually ended up doing a little bit more in the area, and I thought, hey, I got to include it, right? Little extra payoff here at the end of the episode. I mostly was doing it for the thumbnail, actually. I was like, okay, if this is the focus of the episode, you want to make this area look nice, let's add some extra detail. So, effectively what I've done is I've moved some of the office buildings from over on the left side more over to the right side. I straightened up this road as well to give me more zoning potential in this little semicircle here. We have the typical commercial buildings here, and then I've actually found the same asset and just kind of duplicated it over to make it look like, yeah, we've got some extra picnic tables. This is like an outdoor eating area outside of the mountain lodge itself. It's sort of a mini commercial hub for people who are getting ready to do their bigger hike into the mountains. So, really happy with how it's kind of turning out. Obviously did all the gravel on the ground. There's like a pathway that goes through here as well, a little cut through. There's a cut through that joins up this way, but I've changed the textures where I can, added in some bushes, a couple of trees just to break up the area a little bit, some food trucks, that kind of thing, some flower beds, fencing to kind of break up the office space from the rest of the area. So I'm quite happy with how it looks now as well. Just a little bit of extra detail in there. Some picnic tables, fallen trees, log shelters and things like that. Some signs to let you know where you're going and what you're getting into. That kind of thing. So really happy with how it looks now. So yeah, I just thought I would end the episode with that. Bye-bye.